Not making a U.S. landfall, but it is within range to produce those substantial, significant impacts. Storm surge up to 4 feet possible for parts of the Outer Banks.
We have Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel joining us out of Rodanthe, North Carolina with the latest there. And Mike, yesterday you spent the morning and part of the day in Kitty Hawk, also a part of the Outer Banks. But navigating to Rodanthe, and there's a lot of parts of this story. You have, yes, the surf, the waves, the rip currents, but also, and I think you're going to talk about what's behind you, these homes that may yet again fall victim to the very intense waves of the Atlantic.
Yeah, here in Rodanthe, it's very precarious. And I noticed the National Park Service last year put out a study that there's 750 structures on the North Carolina coast alone that are being threatened. And here are 2 that have been abandoned, and they're going to eventually probably fall in the ocean. Now, they'd like to tear them down and get them out of here, because once the debris gets in the ocean, it can spread for up to 15, even 20 miles. Also, there may be a septic tank under the house. I mean, all kinds of issues, wires and pipes. But right now, these 2 are abandoned. There's another one up the beach, right at the end of where Highway 12 went before they put in the S-curve, and that is sitting there. That's in worse shape. Basically, the only thing living there is a big horde of pigeons. But you get the sense, as the tide goes out this morning, we had high tide about 2 hours ago, an hour and a half to 2 hours ago. What's happening? The wave heights are increasing. Get this. Now, the Scripps buoy right off the coast here, yesterday morning when we started, had a wave height of 3 to 3.5 feet through the 8 to 9 a.m. hour. Right now, that wave height is 7.2 feet. So the wave heights have more than doubled. And the Cape Hatteras buoy, which is about 175 miles east of Cape Hatteras, it's well offshore, their wave height's now up to 11.8 feet, so just under 12 feet. And they'll continue to increase as that swell propagates up the coast from Erin, which right now, from where we're standing, here comes the water, and the tide is supposed to be going out. But there you go. You've got this big push. I was getting ready to say, Erin right now is 740 miles, 45 miles plus or minus southeast of where we are. So it's got a long way to go. As we've mentioned on the air, it has slowed down to about 7 miles an hour. So this gives it a chance maybe for the wind field to expand, and we know it's going to grow in size geographically. So the wind field expands, and because of that, the Hurricane Center yesterday afternoon put out a tropical storm watch and a storm surge watch for this area. Inundation, we're expecting right now 2 to 4 feet above normally high ground, and that's going into Wednesday and Thursday. I can tell you earlier, the high tide came right up to the dune line. Now, this dune line is pretty hefty, not as high as what we've seen coming up here or coming down here, and rather yesterday in the Kitty Hawk Nags Head area. So they have some protection. We've got a lot of homes back here. I think they're going to be okay, but it's these homes that, well, are already abandoned. Then you've got this house right here that is currently being not lived in right now. Everybody's evacuated, but it certainly looks like they have been using the home in recent days or weeks. So a lot to unpack here, but the problem is it's all about the surf, the wave heights, and the destructiveness of both of those together on these beaches. So we're going to have a lot of serious beach erosion, and we may have a loss of some property, albeit homes that are not being lived in anymore. We've got definitely 3 here in Rodanthe that are out this far in the water. You notice everything else is farther back. I think those are going to be okay, but you know, as the water gets higher over the years, they've lost about a dozen homes here in the past 4 years. In fact, they lost 6 alone last year during tropical storm weather and also nor'easters. Let me show you what happened here last August. This is the result of Hurricane Ernesto. Ernesto was a higher grade Category 2, and then it moved into Bermuda. Landfall in Bermuda is a Cat 1, so that's hundreds of miles away, but enough water and surge and surf to knock down this home here in Rodanthe. And then you can see what happens on Highway 12 with the overwash. This is from a nor'easter, a coastal storm during the colder months of the year. And look at Highway 12. That's why there's a mandatory evacuation right now for 12 and for Hatteras Island, from the Oregon Inlet Bridge all the way down to Buxton, the island, and Ocracoke. So all those areas under tropical storm watches, coastal flood advisories, or storm surge watches. And then we have the whole issue of the wind coming in, which could peak up at 40 to 50 miles an hour. That may knock out some power. But once again, it's all a beach story. You go 15 miles inland, no problems. Maybe a passing shower or thunderstorm, but we're not going to have freshwater flooding, river issues, We're not going to have wind damage or wind issues inland. It's all really confined right to the coast. Not only here, but from Florida all the way up to Jersey and South Shore, Long Island. So guys, a long way to go. It's only Tuesday morning, and the worst of the weather comes in late tomorrow and Thursday. So we've got until Friday until this water goes out and the ocean subsides and the rip current issue goes away here. Probably not until Saturday until they're going to let folks back in the water. I'm waiting to hear from NAGSAD to find out what their situation is today on swimming.
Yeah, I know some of the beaches have already preemptively decided to close because of some of the water rescues from yesterday, Mike. But to your point, watching these homes and watching how much sand gets brought up with the current as we head in through the next few days. So a lot to digest coming out of the North Carolina Outer Banks area, as well as those homes there. I mean, which Steve and I were looking at them thinking, gosh, at one point that was prime real estate.
No doubt.
Very sad to see. All right.
Oh yeah, and
Go ahead.
And you got to wonder how deep the pylons go into the sand. That's, if they go really deep, that helps. But if you've got 15 to 20 foot waves, and just imagine the force of that kind of wave hitting this building, it's no match. So if these homes are gone by Friday afternoon, I would not be surprised at all. We'll see what happens. But again, it would be nice to clean it up, get them out of here. But it's very, very expensive, and they're just not going to do it with these homes, as far as I can tell, because they've been sitting here empty for a while.
For a long time, yeah. Hey, if those waves can move a home, it can also move you, so keeping people out of the water as well. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel out of Rodanthe, North Carolina this morning. We'll see you later, Mike.